What's going on there, everybody? Welcome back to Fix It Garage. It's been a while, but we're back now. We're over at my buddy's house with the Golf. It's time to do all those mods that we were supposed to do like a month ago, but they're now all here and we're ready to modify the car. So before we get to anything, let's take a look at all of the stuff that we're gonna be putting on this car. All right, so here is our big pile of parts. Well, not that big. This is a street car class build, so we don't have a ton of parts. We're gonna go over here first. Starting from the right, we've got his new Koenig race wheels. Unfortunately, we don't have the tires yet, but those are coming soon. Those are not for this car. Oops.
That's a different project.
Different project, not for me, not my problem. Over here on our big box pile of stuff, we've got quite a few things. We're gonna start there. We've got a not K&N air filter. It's a ECS filter. We've got some wheel spacers.
Illegal for street class, but we'll make it look nicer.
Why would you admit such a thing? You're not
gonna run them.
Okay, you're not gonna. So we got wheel spacers, not gonna be used in class. We've got wheel stud kit because screw lug bolts. We've got sway bar end links. We've got a hood strut because this is the 21st century and all cars should have hood struts. We've got a rear sway bar, which is allowed for street class. We've got our oil and brake fluid, which we are not going to be doing in the video, but there it is. And we have a set of wheels and tires that are gonna be used more for the winter. So we have those, and that's what's gonna go on the car today. And then down here at the very bottom, this nice big box, is a new exhaust for this car because this guy wants pops and bangs because he thinks that it's cool.
This guy wants to hear his car.
Yeah, in all fairness, he wants to hear it. Before we put this on, we're going to put in some sound clips of what it sounded like before and after so you can hear how much better this car sounds. But yeah, we've got all these parts to put in. Primarily, these parts are all at the rear of the car for the exhaust and the sway bar. I guess the exhaust does go up a little bit, but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jack up the car, get the old exhaust off, and start installing all of these lovely brand new parts. All right, up first, we're gonna put in this lovely air filter because it's nice and easy. You've got eight T25 Torx bolts that need to come off in order to remove the air box. Very simple. All right, all the bolts are loose. We can just lift this up and pull out this massive filter. I'm just gonna throw that out of over there. Put in our nice brand new ECS filter that looks like a K&N filter, and we tighten up the bolts. All right, air box is all back together, but you can see these little T25s right here. That is what you have to take off a whole lot of to change the air filter on one of these GTIs.
Not a Golf.
I said GTI. I said GTI.
Some respect on that name.
All right, now we're gonna install. Do you want to show? We're gonna bring this car in the 21st century with a nice hydraulic prop rod because
he doesn't. Clear, my 2003 Jetta came with this. Salty about having garbage on there.
He's very salty about the fact that a brand new car doesn't have a hood strut, and his old BRZ did.
That my brand new car comes half equipped for one, and they still couldn't be bothered to put it on.
Hold on, I'm gonna show them. So just the reason why this is more annoying than it should be, and I'm gonna show you because I agree this is kind of silly. Like, this is just the dumbest thing to do on a car and not use it. So, for the record, the GTI comes with a little nubbins right here. Well, that little nubbins is straight up for a hood prop, and it's not there. My best guess is if you buy this car in Germany, it probably comes with one, or if you buy some other non-Golf GTI, Golf R trim level, it probably comes with one. But you have the nubbin there, and then here we have to remove this one 10mm bolt and install a new little nubbins, and then we can install a hood strut, and then we can make this prop rod go away forever, which has all the safety colors on it. So we're gonna go ahead and install that bolt and install our prop rod, and the underhood part of this job will be done for now. Mint. All right, underhood's all done. Let's get this car jacked up so we can start doing the mods that actually are like the ones that matter. That was kind of fun. Now let's do the important ones, the exhaust and that rear sway bar. That's the main reason what we're here to get done, because that's going to be the biggest difference in handling and sound of this car, and maybe a little bit of performance, but mainly sound and handling are going to improve once we get these two parts on the car, and they are absolutely necessary to run in the street class.
Alright, so I totally was wrong in that last sequence. The first thing we actually need to do was install our extended lug studs. Now, this is a really easy thing to do. What I like to do is put some Loctite on the threaded portion of the stud that goes into your wheel hub. That way then it helps hold it in place. Now, ECS did not actually give us a torque spec with these extended studs. I'm assuming it's probably around the factory wheel torque spec, but I just went with wooden tight, and he's going to drive it, and we're going to recheck everything after 5 miles driving.
All right, so we've got the lug studs installed. So now we get to move on to the fun stuff. It's time to get that old exhaust out and that old sway bar out of there. And we're going to install that brand new exhaust and the brand new sway bar and end links. But before we do that, we need a little bit of a cold start and then some revs of the stock exhaust so we can compare it to the new one once we get that installed. So let's take a listen to that stock exhaust. That didn't sound good. As you just heard, that's really, really quiet and kind of boring for a stock car. So let's go ahead, let's crawl underneath the car and let's get this exhaust ripped off so we can get to the sway bar.
So as it turns out, removing a Volkswagen back half exhaust on the GTI is super easy. First thing we gotta do is lower these two plastic trays down. There's like a 10mm plastic nut on there that holds itself to a standoff on the unibody. And then it's 4 13mm bolts to remove this cross brace. And once you have this cross brace off, you're going to remove 2 13mm bolts for an exhaust slip joint down by the muffler. And at that point, the back half of the exhaust is separated from the front half. It's really that simple. once you have that slip joint off, all you need to do is remove this one exhaust hanger, and now this part of the exhaust is just free to hang down. It's that simple. Now I put a floor jack underneath it to hold it in place while we went ahead and removed the last 2 exhaust hangers, which are over by the exhaust tips. And what's nice about them is you can unbolt the hangers from the unibody, so you can just bring them down you can bring the exhaust down with the hangers attached to it.
She's thick. On the bright side, look at this massive friggin' muffler that we're gonna get rid of. That's just a huge, annoying thing that doesn't need to be there. Oh.
Got him. That was coming off now.
One-handed.
So you're taking the fucking credit for that.
One-handed. Woo.
The sway bar on this car is not the most difficult thing to remove. However, in order to replace the sway bar, that exhaust has to come out. So it's a good thing that we were upgrading it at the same time. Now there's these plastic pieces that you can see on the control arms that we've unbolted, which we will eventually unclip. Those need to come out of the way to get to the sway bar end links. And then there's a big plastic tray that's up by my head. That one also I recommend removing because it makes it so much easier to take the sway bar in and out. I decided to make it more difficult on myself. And then you have 4 triple squares that hold the sway bar end links to the subframe. And once you remove those and the end link bolts, you can pull out this sway bar. Now here's where I made a little boo-boo and forgot to check that my mic was working when I did this. So what we have here is we have our 034 Motorsports new sway bar and our old sway bar. And what I'm talking about here is that the old sway bar is 22 millimeters and the new sway bar is 25 millimeters. But they look similar in size, but the biggest difference is this old sway bar is very light, as you can see by me throwing it up and down. This thing weighs nothing. It is light and hollow, whereas the 034 Motorsports bar, it is solid. It is not hollow whatsoever. It is completely solid and very heavy, and so it should really help stiffen up the rear end of the car and improve that rear end handling. The main reason why we have to also change the end links is, if you'll notice, the end links are plastic, and plastic end links with that solid bar would just break in half at the first hard corner. So that's why they have an upgraded sway bar end link kit as well as a new bar. right, so two things just happened. One, I tried to install the sway bar with that plastic shield, which I then removed because it made life a lot easier, and then I tried to install the sway bar in backwards. Always make sure when you install a new sway bar, you install it in the correct direction. Otherwise, it's not going to fit, and you're going to waste a bunch of time, and if you're doing it for YouTube, you're going to look really silly on camera. Case in point. Installing the sway bar is very simple. There are 4 Allen bolts that come with the kit for the sway bar bushings. And then the sway bar end links, you will just reuse your lower hardware. And everything else that's needed to attach the end links to the sway bar come in the kit. It's really that simple. So just make sure you put everything in, tighten it up, and then you need to put some preload on your end links. So that way then they are preloaded a little bit so they're even, so you get nice even left to right on that sway bar.
All right, so we've got the 034 Motorsports sway bar all installed. You can see, you can see our nice new sway bar bushings and the nice new 034 Motorsports end links. Overall, this thing was pretty easy to install, even though I did have it in upside down to begin with, but we got it all figured out. And we have set some preload on those end links, so this thing should work really good once we can get out and test it. Now with the 034 Motorsports bar installed, you know what time it is. It's time to bolt on that brand new exhaust so we can hear this thing be a little bit louder. So we're gonna put on all the plastics and then we will start reinstalling our brand new exhaust system.
Installing this exhaust is almost as easy as it was to remove the old one. The biggest thing is this is multiple pieces now with slip joints, and they use the brackets to clamp them together. My trick when I install these kind of exhausts is I like to loosely tighten up all the clamps so it's in place, but it's not, it still can move and have some flex, because there's a lot of adjustment in these, and you want to really take your time adjusting the exhaust to get it fit just right in your car, because when you get all the way down to the back end of the vehicle, you want everything to look even and matchy. So when you install these exhausts, install those clamps loosely, and then when you're happy with it, start tightening them down. I like to go from the front to the back when I tighten them, because that'll make sure that it kind of sits in place how I like it. Oh, and if they give you a torque spec, maybe don't follow it, because I broke one of those clamps when I did that, but we're just going to gloss over that and pretend that that didn't happen.
Here at the back, we have these awesome looking exhaust tips. They are huge.
Diamond.
What? Polished black diamond. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we have these amazing looking tips and they are just clearanced enough to not come in contact with the bumper so we don't melt it. He has measured them out and they are fitted evenly and perfectly, so they look really good on both sides. The clamp that broke was that guy. You can see it's gone. That was a oopsie on me. These are kind of like left loose right now, but they're tight enough that the exhaust shouldn't fall down. If it does, it's gonna make for a really, really funny video though. All right, so the only thing that is left to do is we gotta start the car. So we're gonna open up the garage door so we don't kill ourselves, and we're gonna fire this car up so we can hear it now. All right, so that sounded a lot better. It's not louder, it is a little bit, but the main thing I noticed is it's a lot like a smoother tone, and it just sounds a lot more crisp and clean. That free-flowing exhaust sounds a whole lot better than the factory constrictive exhaust. The only way you're gonna make it a lot louder is by like removing the things in front that, you know, go meow. Otherwise, that's a really nice sounding exhaust. It's a really high quality exhaust. The AWE exhaust, very good to install. I think I messed up on that clamp and that's why it broke. It's nothing against the company. Also, those clamps aren't theirs. They buy them from another company and package them. So that's just, we probably got a oopsie defective one. That'll be fixed by tomorrow morning. But other than that, that AWE exhaust is awesome. That 034 Motorsports sway bar, also awesome. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna go out another day when it's not dark out and drive this thing and kind of see how it performs. I'm gonna guess a lot better than stock, but that is going to do it for today, everybody. I wanna thank all you guys for watching. If you like what you saw, don't forget to smash the like button, leave some comments down below, and subscribe so you guys can see more of this Golf and
GTI.
Golf GTI. Sorry. GTI, sorry. GTI content. However, next week, if everything goes to plan, I've got a cool video for next week. So stick around. I've got a video series starting next week that I think everyone's gonna be interested in. But that's gonna do it for today, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.